Hello everyone, welcome to the August 2021 plan with me. This was not a perfect setup, but it'll work and I'm pretty happy with it, even though there are a few parts that aren't necessarily ideal. But you'll kind of see that as we go along here. So this is my calendar page. I like to have few goals for the month that I list out, and I need a decent amount of space for writing in different things that are going on in the month, because this is kind of where I tend to plan out most of my things, just so that I don't overwhelm myself, because it's really easy for me to decide I'm going to do all the things and then not have time for any of them. So this kind of gives me enough space to write down what I need, but not so much that I can't actually do any of it. And as you probably noticed, I've got a really cute little Flareon sticker that was kind of the inspiration for this month's spread. If you don't know, Flareon is a Pokemon, and she's one of my favorites, and I love her. And my sister gave me a pack of really cute Eevee evolution stickers. That's the different types of Eevee Pokemon, and Flareon is the fire version. And so I've been trying to use up some of my stickers that I've gotten over the years and use them as some inspiration for different spreads. So this one, since it's the fire evolution, I've got these little fire characters that I came up with, and initially they didn't have faces, but then I figured they needed to have faces and be adorable, since, why not? So I've got kind of the basic layout for the month here, and then some little doodles of Pokeballs and the little fire guys that you'll see throughout the spread, because I actually only have one Flareon sticker, so you'll only see her on this page, but the rest of the spread kind of mimics the colors and Pokeballs and the little flames and the Pokeballs and the colors and everything. So yeah, kind of just getting the doodles in. I tend to sketch everything out in pencil before I go in with my pen, so you'll see there's a lot of eraser that gets used, including I'll lay the sticker down where I want it and then trace around it so that I know that I'm putting it in the right spot. I think this is the only page that I actually used a little bit finer tip pen for the top of the flames. Initially, I was going to use that all the way throughout, and then I think I just got busy drawing and forgot to switch pens. It's not that much of a difference, but I don't know. It's enough that I notice it. So, but there's the eraser erasing all the things. Because, like I said, I just write out everything in pencil first and then go over it. So I know some people feel like, they get embarrassed about doing that, but I would rather have stuff where I want it. And as you'll see, if you've got a keen eye, you'll notice that even though I did mark out where I wanted everything to go, I still messed up the calendar. It's not a huge thing. It's just kind of one of those things that, as I was setting up the boxes, I noticed and kind of messed it up. And that was the first of our little video jumps. I was having a lot of technical difficulties with my camera recording this one. But you'll see I did a little dotted line around the Flareon sticker. I think that's kind of cute to do with the stickers, where you just go right outside the white border and just do a little dotted line all the way around, because then it looks kind of like a patch that you stitched into the book. I thought about doing that around the Pokeballs and the little fire characters and stuff too, to kind of make the whole thing look more scrappy and like it was all stitched in. but then the video was taking long enough with coloring the little fire characters and everything and doing all the line art and everything that way that I just didn't. Let me know in the comments if you think I should have. Part of me is kind of thinking of doing, as we get into fall here in the next couple of months, doing some little kind of more crafty, cozy type spreads where it'll probably still be some cute little stickers and characters and stuff, but with different things like an easy way to draw like knitted fabric and stitching and stuff like that, where it's more crafty and cozy and looks like it's a, I don't know, kind of quilted, stitched book as opposed to just drawings and everything. I love these little washi tapes. It's like 1/4 of an inch wide, so they're kind of difficult sometimes to use. They're not the absolute easiest, but I really like them because they kind of make it easy to do just like a little bit of a detail without doing a ton of drawing in. And so, like, one of the mistakes that I made in the calendar, I left a space in between each box randomly. So I decided to fill that space with the washi tape because it filled in there nicely, and I don't know, I thought it looked pretty cute, so that was a pretty good fix, I think, for a little bit of an oops there. And if you're noticing, one of the rows is not the same width as the other, but that's okay. You know, it's just for me to use and enjoy, and so even though like my little bit of OCD-ness does kind of look at that and like, it's one box off, it's okay. It'll be fine. It's still usable. It's still cute. And I don't know. I'm really happy with the way that the calendar looks with just doing this little bit of highlight over the number to separate out the boxes. And I really like the way that gold washi tape kind of split everything up there. Yeah. So I just got my days of the week. I know there's a lot of people that start their days of the week calendars on Monday, but I just get confused, so I don't. And there's the next little camera glitch that we had. I did have where you got to see me do all the line drawing for this page, but apparently my camera was not recording, so we don't have that actually in the film, but that's okay. This one ended up being long enough without all the extra stuff that my camera helpfully cut out. Next month we'll do better. This is, I think, the first time I've filmed one of these in over a year, so, you know, lots of learning curves. I think this is actually the first time that I'm doing a voiceover with one of these too, which is kind of fun. I got a new app to edit the videos, so hopefully I'll be able to do this with some of the knitting tutorials and stuff too, where I'll be able to do a little bit of a voiceover instead of filming and talking and everything all at once. Sometimes that works and is just fine, and other times it doesn't and isn't, and so this is a lot more handy. And I did want to say thank you to my Patreons that have joined me so far. I have a link in the description if you'd like to contribute also. Because I've gotten a few new Patreons, that's what's paying for the new video editing app that I've got. So thank you guys so much. It made my life a lot easier being able to use this as opposed to the janky old system that I was using. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, we've just got, on this spread, I've got my spending tracker and books because one of my goals for the rest of this year is to read 2 nonfiction books a month, and then I've got space for other books that I'm reading and any books that I discover this month that I want to read. Those will be added into my to be read TBR list, and then the other is the fiction books that I read, because I tend to gravitate more towards fiction a lot of the time, and the nonfiction I kind of want to do some things to stretch my brain and make me think, and I've got a larger space where I can write my reviews and just little notes. I've got the book Love People Use Things by the Minimalists that I want to read this month. And I also got a copy of Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi, which those types of books, I know that they get pumped out pretty quickly, and a good chunk of it is stuff that I already know or have heard or things like that from podcasts and stuff like that. But it's always kind of nice to read what works for other people as far as productivity goes and stuff like that. So that's why I have that one. Also, both of those should be pretty quick reads for being nonfiction books, but hopefully we'll have some ideas or some little takeaways that I can add into my routine. So again, my camera kind of cut out a little bit there, so you didn't get to see the line work on this page, or on this spread. But I've got a habit tracker on the right side, and I have a goal of finishing 1 WIP this month. So I've got a little project page on the left side, and for the habit trackers, it's just a whole bunch of tiny calendars for this month, and then the way it works is you write in what habit you're trying to track. So that's like for daily habits, and then each day that you do that habit, you color in the square. So it's kind of a nice visual of the whole month and how you're doing with actually following through on the habits that you're trying to establish. And then the WIP page that I have, you'll see in a minute, it says finish or frog, and then it's just got a little picture of a frog. And then it's got a box at the top where I'm going to print out a picture of the WIP that I'm going to be finishing this month. And then there's space to write the yarn, the pattern, the gauge, kind of all the notes that you would normally take about a project. I've got space to write those in towards the top next to the picture of the WIP. And then the bottom half of the page is a notes section, and then another little box to put a picture of the finished WIP once it's all done. So hopefully that'll get knocked out this month here. And again, I've just got some of these little fire guys. When Cairo was looking through my journal, he saw this page and was like, oh, this page has so much fire. And it does, but I thought with all the space at the bottom, I thought it was kind of cute. Because the more I drew them, the more I was having fun just doodling them and adding them into things and giving them little faces and characters, or kind of turning them into more characters than just little flames. So it was kind of fun. And I had talked earlier about how I did not change the pen for the line art on these like I had intended to. And part of the reason that I'm okay with not changing it is because once you do that red outline, it really doesn't matter much. And there's my little finisher frog doodle. I kind of wish I would have done the frog in orange or something, because Cairo pointed out that the yellow and red looks weird, which it kind of does. I don't know, maybe I'll go through and add orange on top later or something. But and then here I'm just kind of calling back to that monthly spread where I just quick ran the highlighter over the habit that I'm working on for that particular tracker. And then again, I've got my tiny little washi tape here, just adding a little bit there to kind of differentiate the boxes and kind of jazz up the page so it wasn't quite as boring. I don't know, it'll be better once the pictures of the projects are in there, but for right now it looks a little blank, but both of those pages will get more color throughout the month. And then this is my first weekly spread. I've got kind of a faux Dutch door, which a Dutch door is where you cut part of the page so you can flip it back and forth so the background stays the same. So like that tasks list, you'll be able to see all week, regardless of what day you're on. But the thing that makes it a faux Dutch door is the fact that it's actually just folded over, it's not cut. And the reason for that is so that I could get enough space for each day all week long, because I need a lot more space than I think a lot of people use in their weeklies. And part of that is because I do this 5-minute journal, and I kind of have a couple planner systems that I combine into one for mine, where I use a 5-minute journal that Tim Ferriss uses or talked about. I learned it from him anyways. And then I also, see, and there's that faux Dutch door. There's Wednesday. And then I also use the push journal system, where you have kind of a push goal, which is like your focus goal, and then you have 3 tasks related to that you do each day to kind of keep the needle moving. And they're just quick little tasks so that stuff doesn't get stagnant, but also not big things so you don't get overwhelmed and stall out. But yeah, so that's why that's all that writing on the left there is kind of blocking out space for my little journal entries for the 5-minute journal, and then space for my push tasks, and then space towards the top just to write in any daily things, which it's not that much space at the top, but that's okay because, like I said, I tend to try to take on more than I should anyways. So kind of forcing myself to limit the amount of space I actually have to add things is really helpful. And a little bit ago you saw me kind of fold open the faux Dutch door. You'll get to see that again here when I flip it open to do the next portion. But got little fire guy, there you go. And there's the rest of the calendar. So that's why instead of cutting the page, you just do a fold, because that way you get this whole page plus an extra half, basically. So you have space for all 7 days plus your task list, and you can still see your task list all throughout the week. Because I have, like I said, I have my little daily goals and tasks, but then I use that weekly task list to kind of put anything that doesn't have like an exact due date or anything like that goes in that task list. The open space at the top is kind of more for like events, or like this thing has to happen on this day, whereas like the rolling task list on the right hand side is just kind of as soon as I can fit them in. It just needs to happen at some point this week. And so yeah, so now we've got pretty much most of the line art is done. Now I'm just kind of blocking out the sections for the 5-minute journal. So the very first section here is 3 things that you're grateful for. So that's always a good way to start the day. Positivity and being happy for what you have. And then the next section is 3 things that would make today great. So like if you could, what 3 things would make today feel like a success. And then the next little bit here is daily affirmation. So like I am, and then you tell yourself what you kind of need a boost in. So like if I'm not feeling particularly creative or something like that, I might have my daily affirmation might be I am creative, or something like that, kind of just to talk yourself up a little bit when you're feeling down. And then I have a section for my 3 push goal tasks, and those things all happen in the morning, and then these last 2 sections are for in the evening, and kind of winding down the day and wrapping things up. There's you write down 3 amazing things that happened today, and then the last section is what could I have done today to make today better. And I think that the wording is kind of important on that, because it's not what would have made today better, it's what could I have done to make today better. It feels a bit wordy, but I think it's really important to keep those specific words in mind, because it really puts the control in your hands versus just being more reactionary to like, well, if this would have gone this way. It kind of gets you in the mindset of like, well, maybe, next time we'll do this instead. So I really like both the push goal system and the 5-minute journal system for kind of just daily methods of working through everything. Just because those 2 things really helped when I was struggling with a lot of stuff. And it just kind of helps you to like I said, it keeps the control in your corner, but it also makes you reflect on the day and makes you think about like going forward, how do I want this day to turn out? And it's really nice, and because they're so quick, it's easy to just do it and not put it off. You'll notice I didn't write all the things in all the spots throughout the whole week. That's because that's just a lot of writing for this video. I'll go in and fill them in throughout the rest of the days of the week later on, but for the purpose of the video, I just wanted to go through and quick get the basics down and kind of explain to you guys why I need so much space on my dailies. Because it really is like a daily planner plus, like I said, my little journaling for the day also. But yeah, highly recommend those 2 systems. And I can link down in the description too if you're interested in finding out more about either of those methods of doing quick journaling and focus and productivity stuff. And this, I thought it would be kind of fun to have the Pokeballs all over the place and have them kind of overlapping on the faux Dutch door in places. So it was a little bit more of a pain than I anticipated, but I really, really like it. It makes me really happy when you turn the page and the Pokeball is still there, and that it kind of moves with the page. So that was kind of a fun little doodle project. And then here's our last little flame guy, which you'll notice I grabbed the wrong marker, and so this guy has his own color scheme going on. It is completely different from the other flames. And that's okay. I mean, fire can be different, right? They're just cartoons anyways. Not actually very realistic, so you just kind of get the idea of fire, and that's kind of the whole point of cartoons, right? They don't have to be realistic, just fun and cute. And I kind of like this guy's little face, and I don't know, it was really fun making these little fire doodles. At first I wasn't sure how it was gonna go, and it's a little bit like, I don't know if I want to do this. But once I started going with them, you kind of get into groove with everything and just kind of go from there. And then here I'm breaking out my washi tape again, just kind of adding a little bit of more color to the page without using the markers for it, because these will be pretty writing heavy pages for the bottom half anyways. So kind of trying to keep it a little bit more minimal at the moment while still having a bit of a decoration. And so I've got I think 4 different washi tapes that I'm using. Yeah. And I kept opening and closing and flipping the pages back and forth because I was trying to make sure that the patterning looked good no matter which page you had open, because I like stuff like that. And that it wasn't one particular washi tape that you really saw. I wanted to make sure that it was kind of evenly dispersed across everything. So you'll see here I've got the exact same one that would have been in that spot on the other page when the Dutch door was closed. And it's, again, just kind of me wanting things to be even and smooth, and there we go. That part was a little obnoxious, but we got it in the end. So there we go. That's the whole little faux Dutch door, and then we'll do a little final flip through for you.